مخبش لا مالوخن أهاي البرس خزو أطراي بتيول وانهون شاروكينا هسو مقرون قاتوخن أها خرزة إجت إيتون شو خرزن إدي بتمغزيخ لخن خدش هايلايتس ديوا كاميرا برس خزو أطراي بتيول خشاقة شنوشيا برعيوت خاتمان إطلات Assyrian American National Federation Convention ديوا شغلتها شوبا أهاشيتا جو Scottsdale Arizona هذا زي إيوا خا convention رابا منتيانا ومهنيانا ديوا تشلو ناشن من all over the world والدنيا تيا قداها convention بس بوشن أمان قمت قداسات أم برس خزو أطراي بتيول وأن اللقاطة بتشوق خلقون من Assyrian American National Federation 83rd Convention.
أرخن يقيل شلام علوخن أنا يقرانوخن رابرت ديماران بتهاون مقروان خرزة قديوخن قسامة قاما يا إداها رمشة البدانا بتويا أمي ميقرتا رانيا بنجامين قادية بتطلبخ بتمورخ آتت أمريكا وآتت أمتن آتوريتا Shana Board of Directors Anidina Nyakra Wilson Baba Nyakra Ashur Yonan Nyakra Farouk Giwargis Bagdan Basmalo بالقبل شينا هاني دينا أمن جبن وأزجد أمتا توريتا من زوعة ديمقراطية تورايا بالقبل شينا يابو جيورجس أمبرزوجو منا كوشابا عاشور سخريا فريد إليا هرمس طيرو عدنان نانو أمبرزوجو سناء نانو بغدو بسمعو من قبل ديمقراطية بتنهرن بتقبل شينا يقرأ رميو حكاري من NPF بتقبل شينا صفاء الياز جبتو من قبل أطرنايا أطرايا بتقبل شينا يقرأ مانويل خوشابة يقرأ جورج زومايا من لومادا غافنايا بتقبل بشينا يقرأ إيشايا إيشو باقر بسمع من ابناء نهرين بتقبل بشينا يقرأ تقاليدها شابو بالقبل بشينا Board of Directors أنيقينا يقرأ ويلسون بابا يقرأ آشور يونان يقرأ فاروق جيورجس برزوغو سميرة جاسم من ميدويست. يقرأ جوزيف بابا وسترن. يقرأ مها الهاوي إيسترن. Assyrian Aid Society of America بالطبلة بشينا منى مالك بابا بسمع. من خيادة بتي ولاية أمترايا بالطبلة بشينا ميقرتها بيرونيا بابا بسمع. هدية بالطلبخ من داني مشتعلانة برعويوتها بنوية دعوة. الطلبخ بشينا يقرأ ريمن تاش بنوية assistant to the president دعوة. الطلبخ بشينا يقرأها ايلين ناريمان Assyrian secretary دعوة بابا. بالطبلة بشينا يقرأ آلان موشاك Constitution الدعوة. بالطبلة بشينا يقرأ ديفيد برزوغو مانيكا باتيو Credentials الدعوة. بالطبلة بشينا يقرأ نهرن برزوغو يوليوس للهام membership الدعوة. بالطبلة بشينا يقرأ شارلوت برزوغو عادل توما chairwoman. بالطبلة بشينا يقرأ سام برزوغو ليشوا درمو editor in chief Assyrian Star. I'd like to welcome Mr. Trent Frank, United States Congressman. بالطبلة بشينا يقرأها جوليانا تامرازي. بالطبلة بشينا خلق مدبرنتها الدعوة يقرأها مارغريت برزوغو إدمون أخديبو. بالطبلة بشينا يقرأ قنبر برزوغو فيفيان قنبر chairman تمشي 8 طلاب برعويوتها تشقل شوبها أريزونا. بشينا أو تقوم خد 24 دعور مرخطالة آبر عويوتا كل قارة بالطلب من يقرأ ويليام يوماران فاقد. I'd like to welcome Mr. Robert Nicholson, Executive Director of Thelos Project. هدية بتقارن أني بشلو قبية إديو وجمعتها تطر لخا اتبرعويوتا الطلبن فاقد يقرأ Yosef Hormus, Editor-in-Chief of Assyrian Star. بالطبلة بشينا يقرأ رامي بهرم, Assyrian Secretary. بالطبلة بشينا يقرأ كارول أوديشو, Treasurer. بالطبلة بشينا يقرأ شميرم إتشي, Executive Secretary. بالطبلة بشينا Dr. Zina Tawfiq, Assistant to the President. بالطبلة بشينا خلق مدبرانا يقرأ آشور شمون. بالطبلة بشينا تاقاي قامتها دبرانة براويوتا أمبرزوغو First Lady يقرأ مارتن أمسويني يوماران. هذه بالطلبن من يقرتها رانيا بنجامين فقدا بسمة.
Shalom Alofen. أنا إيوان رانيا بنيامين هدمت seated education إداها convention. شأنا تيتون شلوخن أديو إتلن إيقارة قد تديرنا أمن قشمن أمتناية أطوراية من أطرد بالنهر أو يتم باسيم قد إيتون أمن وشارك لوخن ب educational seminars إتوالا أن يومانا أخنا قالوا تهم عشان بتشالخ من نوخن وبتسندخ لوخن بأرخت أخ نوخن وبنا أمن جو أطراد مقرويتون. At the same time, we are most honored to welcome and have in our attendance Arizona's esteemed congressman and a genuine friend to the Assyrian community here and abroad, Honorable Trent Franks. We are also delighted to welcome and are honored to have the Executive Director of Philos Project, who has been a tireless advocate for the preservations of the Assyrians in the homeland, Mr. Robert Nicholson. Idea بتشارك لخرزن بت قريان ميقرتها مارغريت أختيبو وميقرتها سويني يمارن قد مقروي كليتد Pledge of Allegiance. Now we will have Margaret Aktibu and Sweeney Umaran present the Pledge of Allegiance of the United States and of the Assyrian nation. Salmat Shubakan by Sweeney Umaran.
Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Salamat Shubakan, Sultan Slawatan, Rushmat Gdayutan, Adiwat Muhabti, Atan Habibta, Bimromat Khirutan, Bimayu Baruya, Khannana Tawa, من كل جاني من كل روخي متمه قديشة دوخنت كلتلي كمت إيوان خايا خبتن لشلايا بيشد مرمتا بيشد قدشتا تخطلاني تغبرختا العالم شبختا مشخن واخاني مشخن ياخاني آتت بدنهرن آتر قدشتا
أدين بس معلومة البشيتون شلية أوينا خدقيقة شتقة قروخة سهدا. We will have a moment of silence for all those who have fallen and persecuted. Thank you. I would like to welcome the President of the Assyrian American National Federation, Mr. William Umaran.
باليوم تيمو خبي رمشو خطابة. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. اليوم ليلة خارايا إداها كنوشيا تماني طلع إسقلي شوبا قدام نيتا شابرتا وبش بيوم سقلا تأخذون هدير جاوي خاسقلا رابا شابيرا يقول خقاتن نجيب مدبرانا كنوشيا يقرأ قنبر أو نتهلديا ليلة راسقيلا كرسي وخشاون مسابق جاروبة لتمريز ولا خرزة كامل بين شمة بطلابة لإقارة راما كل تاني تينا هديرة وسنيدة ويبتي بلا كنوشيا وبطلبوتا مني وكل بلاخت كنوشيا لابتوب سوري ينجوري وقادني خرزة بشلو المقروة بيال عليمو عليمات رسيتا مردوتا نايتا البراويوتا ومتنات الأطرايت أمريكا قنبر بلطياني المنتا شمت جاني ومن كل أني أعودة وماري لي هوتم بسيمة رابا تهدروخون ومدلوخون آها كنوشيات هاوي ومنتيانا بسيمة رابا
طلبا من شمع شباب بابا إن ما بسمع له قبل لخبت برخت لخرمشان.
بشمت بابا بلون غلوخ وتشل أمين آمين. بارك لنا يا مريا آلاها بارك لها أمتن بارك كل أزجدي وأرخي يا مريا آلاها أتخير رمشة بقت وبرخمخ وبارك لها رمشة تخبت مارن إيشو شيخا آمين.
بسيمة رابا الشماشة. عادي خرزن بتشالة بخرمشة وخرزة بتهدمخ بر خرمشة بس يمرا. Mr. Franks is a rare leader who still believes that people and principles should be at the center of political discourse in America. Mr. Franks believes the purpose of government is to protect the lives and constitutional rights of the people. He works very hard in Congress for smaller governments by cutting government waste, taxes, bureaucracy, and regulations. He believes in personal responsibility, strong national defense, free enterprise, protecting the innocent, and in the timeless truth and principles of the United States Constitution. These principles are the basis in his efforts to stand with and advocate for the persecuted indigenous peoples, the Assyrians. With that belief, he's the chairman of the International Religious Freedoms Caucus and a strong and initial supporter of the Genocide Resolution, HCR 75. He has always welcomed and more importantly, empathized and listened to the critical needs of the Assyrians. Congressman Franks, we thank you for your relentless solidarity. And without further ado, Honorable Trent Franks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Well, it's such an honor to be with all of you tonight. I mean, this has been just a beautiful time. You know, I can't express to you how heartwarming it is to meet brothers in the Lord that are from across the world, many of you. And I just want you to know I am sincerely grateful to be with all of you tonight at this presidential dinner celebrating the 83rd Annual Assyrian American National Federation Convention, hosted right here in Phoenix. And there's so many people I would thank, but I have to thank Mona back here because she's come to see me a few times at the congressional office, and last week they made the invitation for me to be here, and it was one of those last moment things that happened, and I'm just truly grateful to be here. And I want you to know, I know that we will never be gathered, this group particularly, exactly like this again. It is a moment in eternity itself. And yet I believe, by the grace of God, something good can come of it that will be good for people across the world. And ultimately, I hope that it'll help us cross over the threshold of eternity someday, and that more people than we ever dreamed will be there waiting. We won't have to worry anymore. You know, I was walking with my little daughter once, and there's always a lack of time in our lives. And she said, "Daddy, I just can't wait to get to forever with you." And it really touched my heart, because someday, folks, as much as we talk about all the heartbreak and crisis that we have here in this life, someday it'll be all right. Someday the Lord will wipe away every tear. Someday death and suffering and tragedy and heartbreak will fall away in the abyss of eternity forever. And we can take great courage from that, I think, and hopefully we will have all the more commitment to do what we can on this earth for the defenseless and for those that cannot defend themselves while there's still time. Now, I am so aware of the national struggle and the ongoing suffering of the Assyrian people. It's been that way under so many oppressive governments across the years, and I'm here tonight very simply to stand in solidarity with you. That's why I'm here more than any other reason, because I believe in all of you. I know sometimes when a politician comes before you, you think, oh, well, he's just running, but my election's over and I don't have an opponent. So I want you to know I'm not here to get you to endorse me. I am here because I, with my soul, endorse you. I'm also aware that this National Federation was actually birthed and established as a result of the 1933 massacre of the Assyrians in Iraq on October 19, 1933 at the village of Samela. And I know that claimed the lives of 3,000 Assyrians, and I thought it was kind of interesting because it's about the number of lives that we lost in 9/11 here in America. History has recorded many crimes of genocide against the Assyrian people, and it's particularly true during the Second World War. Those tragic events, I know, have left many painful memories for a lot of you here. That you have family memories, you have parents and grandparents that went through some of these tragedies, and I know they've left, again, deep wounds in many of your hearts. But it's even more heartrending in my mind that those genocidal tragedies have continued to happen to this very day. And I know that each of you has your own unique story of the strife and struggle and this relentless resilience you have to survive. I know it's hard to be driven from one country to the next. This native people that you are from the land between the two rivers. And I know sometimes you think, well, will we ever find rest? And I pray that a moment will come when the Nineveh Plain will be their homeland where no one can take that from you again. And I, for whatever it's worth to you, am proud of you for having the courage to battle on the front lines against this most evil and fanatical Islamic force that has ever existed in the history of the world, this thing called ISIS. You fought against the rebels and radicals in the form of the brutal Ottoman Empire of 1915, the Arab revolt, the Kurdish uprising, and later the Ba'ath regime, followed by Al-Qaeda, and now ISIS. You guys are seriously good folks. You make it happen. You continue to stand against evil, and I don't know how sometimes the world overlooks the heartaches that you've had. You've valiantly risked death and demise, all because you want to pursue not only the right to exist for yourselves, but you've been an example of trying to stand up for peace and freedom and democracy and liberty for every human being across the world. And I think somehow you understand what it's worth more than most because of the heartaches that you've had. You have reminded the majority population in the Nineveh Plains region, and you've remained there in spite of the insidious invasion of ISIS. And you know, I can't sometimes understand how the modern world misses the fact that this has wiped out communities there that have been there for 7 centuries. How does the world miss that? For the first time since the 1st century of Christianity, Holy Mass ceased to be celebrated, and the church bells continue to be silent to this day. And I have to tell you, I don't want to get bogged down in just partisan politics tonight, but I am ashamed of the President of the United States for not standing up and putting his golf club down and doing what was necessary to help the people across the world. It's hard for me as an American congressman to see ISIS rape and butcher and behead and crucify their way across Iraq, while the beacon of freedom, the flagship of liberty in the world, stands by and watches it happen. And I've got to tell you, I don't, again, want to just talk partisan politics to you, but folks, I beg you to understand one thing, and this is not on my notes. We only have 2 ways to change policy in America. We either elect the right people, or we beg, sometimes in vain, like the last 8 years, we beg the wrong ones to do the right thing. And it's time that we stand up and do what's necessary to bring leaders to the White House and to the country that will do the right thing and stand for what America's founding fathers believed we could be. And I just hope that you will consider that as you go forward. Somebody yelled, "Trump, Trump." Did I say Trump? Yeah. All right. You know, He may not have been my first choice, but right now he is the only choice. I was over in England here just about a month ago, and you know, the elites, the ones that's supposed to have it all figured out, said, well, Brexit will never pass. But you know, the regular people had different ideas, and they prevailed. And I hope that that has some patterns that will reflect in this November's election as well. I hope the regular people will stand up and say, you know, we've had enough of the status quo, and we're not going to have a third Obama administration. We're not going to do it. Now, you know, it occurs to me that this peaceful Christian nation of the Assyrians embraced Christian faith in the very first century. And that alone is such an encouragement to me, because I know that no matter what happens, that the Lord of eternity has set you free forever. And in the meantime, we've got to do everything we can to stop the enemies of this world from trying to enslave you while you live on this earth. And I think that your voice is powerful across the world, because people, when they've gone through the kind of oppression that you have, there's a special power, special credibility in your voice. And I truly believe that the heartaches that have come to you will not only pass, but they will empower you to be a voice in the world that will go far beyond anything that you dream, far beyond on just reclaiming your own freedom. And that's perhaps a consolation that I hope will have some impact on those of you that have gone through, again, so much. And the fact that you have been so courageous in all the battles that you fought, that is not unnoticed by many of us. And I hope that as the new Congress takes its place next year, that somehow we will have a different equation, and somehow we can do something a little different. I think that it's important that if the world needs to simply understand that if the indigenous Assyrian people and the Christians in general are pushed out of Iraq, that or just the Middle East in general, that the Middle East will then be something along the lines of Iraq and Saudi Arabia, and just like every other Islamist dictatorship that has been so damaging to the whole human family. So if we understand what's at stake, maybe that will finally motivate us, because it's always been true throughout history that when we ignore people being crushed, when somehow some malevolent force moves against innocent people, that if we stand by and watch, all too soon that bony hand of evil knocks on our own door. And again, I pray that somehow that your voice will be heard in the midst of all of that. Now, the primary reason that I'm here tonight, as I told you, is to stand in solidarity with you, but I want to hopefully go further than that. I want to assure you, and I want to assure every last one of you, that I'll do everything I can within my congressional power to help you realize your dreams of true freedom. And among the many things that we must do together, and I'm just going to name them, we have to establish the Nineveh Plains province under international protection. Thank you very much. I believe that you all may have an opinion about that, it looks like. We not only have to do that, we have to stop the confiscation of Assyrian lands in northern Iraq. And we need to add the Assyrian name next to Arabs, Kurds, and Turkmen in the national ID. And we have to find a way to financially help the IDPs. Yeah. And I want you to know, being on the Armed Services Committee, I am committed to making sure that we assist and equip the Assyrian forces to fight against ISIS. You know, it's noteworthy that Arizona's very own Navy SEAL, Charlie Keating, served with the SEAL Advisory Team in northern Iraq and was fighting along the Assyrian forces alongside them when he was killed near Erbil by ISIS forces. Now, I want you to know, I've known that family a long time, and there's a noble streak throughout the entire family. And we're doing everything we can to make sure that this noble warrior of freedom is recognized for what he's done. But that's what he was doing, and if we care so much about the march of human freedom in the world, we need to honor noble heroes like Charlie Keating and those many Assyrians who face death to face down the most evil jihadist force in the history of the world called ISIS. I'm also here to tell you that the plan of ISIS to eradicate the Assyrian people will not and has not and will never succeed. You all are living proof that the Assyrians are not only surviving, they are thriving. And they're here tonight to tell the world that you will not go quietly into the night. You will continue to fight for your own freedom and for the freedom and liberation of all mankind, because you, the Assyrians, follow a Savior who once promised that in the world you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world. You know, and I'm so proud of all of you here tonight, because you've not only escaped an oppressive government, even though it meant many times leaving all that you ever worked for, but you started rebuilding your life from the ground up in America so that you could mount a new offensive to liberate your brothers and sisters still living under oppression. And I just want to say to everyone in Arizona that we're very fortunate to have so many accomplished and vibrant Assyrians making their contribution to our state and to our economy as business owners, professionals, vital members of this society. And I am doubly honored to call some of you my constituents. I do know the struggle well that you have it's caused you to work so hard to lead the various efforts that you have to liberate your friends and family back in Iraq and other places in the world. And I just again say to you that I'm committed in Congress to try to work to convince the American government to stand with you and to help you prevail. I cannot tell you how much it impresses me that you're so committed to remaining true to your ongoing mission and to trying to help the people in your ancestral homeland in their ongoing struggle for freedom as well. It just seems like that's the part that makes it so real to me. And I would suggest to you that the fact that tonight marks 83 consecutive years that the annual Assyrian American National Federation has met to confirm your undying pledge to continue to help those left behind, doesn't that say it all to you? You've been pretty relentless here. 83 years, that's a statement to the world. And I just want you to know, as your congressman, as your friend, and most of all, as your brother in Christ, that I stand with you with all my heart. But you know, there is a much more glorious truth than that should encourage you most of all. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, that nail-scarred hand of the high and lofty one that inhabits eternity still rests upon all of you and the Assyrian people. And he has promised that the gates of hell will never prevail. So God bless you all. Let's do what we can to stand together, to go forward. Let's make sure that the good feelings of tonight cause us to be more committed and more focused than ever to see some of these things that we've mentioned tonight come true. And I just hope that every one of you will go home tonight knowing that not only is the Lord on your side, not only is a few members of Congress on your side, but you're going to prevail. It's going to work out okay. And somehow the effort that you're making tonight is worthwhile. And if you do that, I'm convinced that the commitment that's in your heart will bear fruit someday. And I just hope every one of you knows that there's a great deal of goodwill in my heart for all of you. And I hope you don't get tired of well-doing. And just know that the same God that made every one of us sees everything that happens. And if time turns every star in heaven to ashes, that eternal moment will come to each one of his children. And so we need to have no fear and go forward with all of our mights. And by the grace of God, we will do that. And I thank you for tonight. I thank you for the opportunity to speak to you. And let's charge the gates.
Thank you, Congressman. I know your time is short and you want to leave. Yes. We want you to leave with a memory from this event, and that for the hard work that you'll be doing, first for the Assyrian in the state of Arizona, and then for the entire Assyrian community around the world. The Assyrian American National Federation would like to give you something. We hope that you keep it in your office to remember us, and that's an award from the Assyrian American National Federation to you, sir.
Folks, it's just simply beautiful. I know all of you can't see it, but it really is, and it touches my heart. But most of all, you know what'll make me feel, what'll be a payoff for me, is that if in a few years we can gather like this again, and we can see some of the things we've talked about come to reality. God help us. Vote early and vote often. God bless.
Thank you, Congressman Franks. As you have so eloquently portrayed, we the Assyrian people are courageous and resilient people that have persevered through continuous persecutions and genocides. And with your solidarity, we will persevere, we will regain the Nineveh Plains, the church bells of Mosul will ring again, and the spirit of our ancestors from Numrud and Khursabat will never die. Thank you very much. أديا طبعا قدرخ الخرزن بتسبقنا ميقرا ويلسون بابا إلى chairman of board of advisors قد سبقت و يول oath of office هدامة تجيبينا تبشنا جيبي أوديو
قد أقامت إلى قدام convention قد بغزاين دست تعوض الشتاء كلنا يا لبنان خدمنا قويرنا إذا فزعتم كما جبل هلنا مظبوط لقد أفرايوتا يميتا بتخيل. That's the first time in 52 years I've seen all of them young, boys and girls. Those they are our future, and please, all of us, let's support those new officers of the Federation. أخلوخن هما شميرة تونيتون جهل ميمون أخلوخن صعبة ولخن دخضان جهل أخوان عادية تخنية جهل من دن بسور لمسخ ميخ إتا عاديك ليطلع اللوخن وبزودا أخلوخن دي إديو يوم بشلوخن بريشي قدابا روتا إن بس ما لوخن عادية يدو كلمة بقلوخن يدوخن مرمون إمن مري كلوخن شموخن هلون لير لمريخنا خطري خبران تانن تتاوى ليل مني أوكي شموخن تحمل لا So for your first time you did here, it's alright.
I, William
I, Margaret.
I, Martin Imar.
I, Asher Shuman.
I, Zina.
I, Carol Nodishu.
I, Rami Batra.
I, Shamil Nodishu.
I, Joseph Herman.
قول قمدا ملت
قبول قمدا كلشا
قد نطرنا قانون شوتابوتا برعيوتة أمريكا
قد مطرقلن قانون براويوتا انترنت أسرائيل أمريكا
قد بلخ خالبا قورا قداها أمتا وميضالي ملبخ كوخا أطرايا لا أخشتي لقدا برعيوتا إيكت إيلي دو أمريكا بدر بلخ وبطها يرخ أيها العظم يرخ هذه صورة هيك أختي تيمون عايدو هذه صورة وغسينة
أديها بالطلبة من ميقرا President William Umaran قد يولن transitional speech.
Thank you. أخي المخبر اليوم إلى ليلة خرايا أخ تكبرانة براويوتا ومتنيتا تعطرايت أمريكا تسلمنا بإيدت صيتا أو تخطى تشقيلة اليوم مميتة غزيالوخون وبهيوي وين قد أني جوان قوخماتي ماصي خاميلة نطريرة برايوتا قاتمانيش النخينة قاخا جنريشن اليوم ترابا منهم خزينا ترير خيلا وشغلت له ايديز ديو قداني تخاي مماطي وباني تهاوي قريزة البورد اوف ادفايزرز بداها برايوتا بتهادخ اخ تكبرانا شغلشة وحدودنا ارباشني كل خامنديد قخيلا او دخوالي اها شو تابوتا ان اها يما صوتك 18 انت مش تسترى هامن البو وتجمع وتلايطلا اتمقوي خوالا ومالكلي خوالا لقلاتو اتبرخاو ونطراوا التاني نيشي بشتلا مش تستا كومتن قداي خيروتا اني تديوم دينا يوارات اوهاتن سنيتل كل خيرتا اتأخنا مخا ديوه وما أروت مقرأ وخراقاته بدهادخ اتلي هي بيقرطا بني جوان قوخماته وبريشايد بيد دبرانا قد آزل لقاما وآها برعيوتا تسلومون قويدات سباي لا هو يتهوي تنكارا لتآزل لقاما وبتمرمالي ريشة أمتا أطوريتا همشا وبالبرخة صبيوتا من كل قشمن بوليتيقاي إيتناي شوتاباي لبدا باوت وبرخة قومتا أطوريتا خرتا آني بالبرخي جانا دخل أمرخ سبب دير يوما هلا دي هلدخا مزبطة ماشي نخراي خينة مزبطنا بتهادخ قريب برخة كلن موضالي جانا بتمقرون قاتوخون مدبرانا خاتا مارتن يومارن
إزجد وهدامت برايوتا أرخ المخبة شلام الأخوان مدري أهل يقارب قرت لقاتي غشقلنا مشتغلون أنت تهاون طبرانا دا برايوتا ومجوجنا لقامة. It's an honor for me as the new president to take the reins and help lead the Federation to the next generation. We have with us a group of young, vibrant Assyrians. Board خطة إديلا منيتها من نبينا من عظيمة هنا بلاخة activist أمتن كلها بلاخنا وكلهم بتبلخ موضوع لقاء خيروت الأمطان مختبران مرة كان عطرايا وأخناني هل تعرف عطرايا وأبد لمتخ وسبب هرب جوجخ لقامة وبنيومتي شمعونه أخنوخن يوتون خاصة أخنوخن قالت يويتون إلان support منن باقورقاتوخن حيوريتون إلان سنديتون إلان شوقيتون إلان بلخخ وأون أرابا بسيما قدن بورد هدام الديان البرايوتا الدنة 18 شعروب بنا هر مجوجي للقامة and founders البرايوتا Dr. David Perley, Alex Amir and others. I am an Assyrian and I am obligated to work for the Assyrian nation. وكلن بلاخت دانيشا خيروت الأمطان وهيرتا وقبنا يومطان قواترا بدنهرين أطرد بابا ساون بديان our ancestral homelands شيشلتها من أطرا لأبد شارخلا وشيشلتها بتحاوخ بلاخا موضالة جوجة لقامة. We have an opportunity to work and we will never cut our chains and our ties to our ancestral homeland. Even if هالبات رابا من بنيومتن بخاينا يقالوتا إن هلا صيرخ بيومتن تام صيها بترابا بس مدان أتام بنيومتن بخاينا جو أطرا هلا بتاع بلاخنا خيروت أمتن بس مرابا قاتوخونو. Thank you for everything and enjoy the rest of the convention. We're going to do a lot more great things and we have a lot of youth. Please نطلقن عليهم بنونا بناته ميملو هايرو شمورو بالخي آتي سبب آها بريوتا the age had the Aslila average age to 25 maybe yeah so رابع قد هايرخ قد إنا هاوي كلها باسيمة كلها هيعرفها. Thank you.
It is now my honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Robert Nicholson. Robert Nicholson is the Executive Director of the Philos Project, an American nonprofit that seeks to promote positive Christian engagement in the Middle East. He is also the co-publisher of Providence, a journal of Christianity and American foreign policy. He holds a BA in Hebrew Studies from Binghamton University and a JD and MA in Middle Eastern History from Syracuse University. A former U.S. Marine, he has established articles in the Jerusalem Post, Times of Israel, Mosaic, Canon and Culture, and Syracuse Journal and
Thank you.
خزيان مخبة هلا خبتاك الخد سامد زها خرزة وهتبخ بيوخن شبت بتايرة من يوم مناود تشلو بس خزت عصراية تيول أنا من شاروكينا هسو بمارهم بوش مشينا وخيا أمتا عصريتا